So first things first, we need our, I cannot remember the name of this, our wheel. That's what I'm gonna call it for now. And you'll just unscrew to loosen it to open it up. Okay. And then your cross stitch material. Okay, and your cross stitch material has like hatching. Okay, if you could think of each of the 4 points around one of the hatch marks as like a box, that's really gonna help, okay? And then your yarn. So first we're gonna fold our fabric in half twice. So once horizontally and then once vertically. And that's gonna help us find the center point so that our item is in the center of our fabric. So I'll give you guys a second to do that. Then you're gonna put your smaller ring behind your fabric and your larger ring on top so that they're on top of each other. Trying to make sure that that's still center. And then you'll tighten it. And some people, when they do designs like this, they actually like keep it on, gosh, I need to look up what this is called. They keep it on this and then they tuck their fabric behind and add a second layer and they just sew a backing on it so that they could just hang it up in their house. I need these back though, so we won't be doing that in here. Okay. Now we are going to start with the red. So I'm going to start on the bottom and work our way up of our flag. Okay, and in your thread you have, I believe it's 6 smaller threads. So you want to pull one of those threads out. And we're just going to pull them apart. You'll just need to start with one. I used to know a trick to this. And for the life of me, I can't remember it. And now I'm getting myself all tangled, so. Okay. So once you have your thread, you're going to go ahead and thread your needle. And you're not going to tie a knot at the end. So when you cross stitch, you're not tying knots. At least not at the end. There are like French knots that you can do in some of the designs, but this one doesn't have one of those. Okay.
So do we just leave it on
Yep. So now we need to look at our pattern so we know where to start. So we need to count across and up and down so we know how big our picture is. So, and we can find the center. So how wide is our flag?
20, right?
Yep. So if you're counting the boxes, you'd get 20 boxes. And how tall is it? 15. Good. So what's half of 20? 10. So we're going to count in 10. Okay. And that would be our center point. So if you're looking at the center point on your fabric, and if each of these, you guys see what okay, if each of these little, like, you have your 4 holes, and in the center of that 4 hole, we'll think that that's a square, right? Just like our grid. So if we're counting from the center square over 10, okay, and then I'm going to start at the bottom left corner of our flag. Yep.
Just, are you counting one of the dots as just one?
No, so you have like your 4,
Okay, so that would be one.
so like, yes, so the 4 dots would be 1. I lost my place. Okay, now what's half of 15? 7.5. So we'll go down 7. Okay. So then you're going to count down 7. And that's where you're going to make your first stitch. Okay. Now, when we did our practice stitches on the paper, we did a bunch of X's. Okay. You're just doing a bunch of X's. That's all it is. So each color on your pattern is represented by a different symbol. Okay, so I chose to use X's for the first color that we're using, which is red. Okay, but even when you get to the white, even though it's a square shape, you're still just doing X's. All right, and you're gonna do that across. So we're gonna pull through, and we're gonna make sure that we're holding the tail so that our thread doesn't go all the way through. And then we're going to come up to the other part of our square, to that other top corner. Okay. So don't.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. So I went up through the bottom corner, and then in our square, I went to the top. So diagonal to that top corner, and then I'm going to go next to it. Oops. And go over it to make my X. Okay. Now, when you use cross stitch, you're not going to skip any squares, okay? Because then you would have a bunch of spaces. So I'm going to go back through that top right hand corner that I did my second stitch through. I'm going to start my second X, and then I'm going to go diagonal down and then come up the second time. I'm just going to keep doing that until I get to 20, and then I'm going to go up and start my second row. All right. And then when you're ready to start the white and the blue, you're just going to switch colors. Does everyone understand what they're doing? Yes. So you're just going to go through the one that you already did for your when you start your second stitch. Okay. I am coming. Yep.
Are you supposed to keep it from this? Okay, so you're where you started from. How do you keep it from holding it? Okay. So it doesn't go all the way through.
The back is gonna look different.
Okay. Oh,
That's okay. The back doesn't have to look perfect. We're just focused on the front.
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Fine.
So I went up here, and now you're just gonna go diagonal.
Yep. And it's gonna be really important that both of your threads are even on your needle, okay? So that we don't get any bunching in the front, or random knots. If it's on the back, it's not as big of a deal, but if it's on the front, it's gonna look messy. End it. End it. So that's actually what I was gonna get to. So you're gonna flip it over. And even if you're not done with that like color row, you wanna make sure that you have enough left over, and you're just gonna weave it underneath a couple of your stitches. Okay, and then you're gonna cut it. So you're still not tying a knot, because the hope is that you can lay this flat. Okay. So I'm just gonna weave it through. Then I'll just snip it and rethread. Alright, and you'll just keep doing that until you are finished.